talk about a journey because some of what you've heard intentionally built in to the 12-week cycle here is actually coming from this Tree of Brokenness. And I do love when we created the tree, putting this up to yourself, and I actually have a big poster size, and I used to walk around and say the tree is me. How does this tree represent my life? Well, if you look at the core longings, and if you sit quiet with God and say, Lord, can you show me what one of these longings do I look mostly to get fulfilled by other people and not by you? Some things are probably going to become pretty apparent to you. Significance is my core longing. Significance and safety are my two that I will find when I go to broken behavior. I'm trying to fill those two needs. Significance, I was an incredible workaholic. I have credentials and degrees that would be too long to list on a business card. And right now I don't list any of them because they actually don't really matter. I mean, they're a part of my journey, but they're actually part more of how broken I was to go, I'm gonna prove to everyone that I'm significant, that I matter, that I am smart. So they didn't come out of a healthy place of, I would like to go be a doctor someday, and so I went to become a doctor. They came out of a place of, I'm not significant, I have breaks because people used words that drove lies in my very being that I live out every single day, okay? So when I look at the tree, I had to go through a very long, it's been 14 years right now I've been engaging my healing journey, which looks very different than my counseling journey that went on for 20 years before that, but my healing journey, I actually had to sit with God to understand what in the world happens that drove the way I act, okay? My isms may look a little bit different. The isms that we have listed are just to give you guys an idea what some of the isms look like. But I always say at Water Street, it's fascinating to watch all of your journeys because if you come and you're addicted to drugs or alcohol, the majority of you will do one of two things. You will either run to religion or you will run to relationships. And sometimes you run to both. And so we watch it and we try to tell you what it's going to look like when you jump from the ism, I'm not going to do this anymore, but you haven't addressed the wounds. You're just switching for another ism. So you jump from ism to ism to ism. And so we'll watch people, and I always say, some of the people that I always go, wait a second, be honest with me or just don't even answer me. Because people walk around, I'm blessed and highly favored. Blessed and highly favored. I'm like, you know what, that's a posture. We all are blessed and highly favored from God. That's who he says we are. So what's going on down here? What's going on in the root system of the tree? If you don't address the things that hurt you, what we call the wounds on the inside, okay? We would never leave in our society the kinds of wounds that you have on the inside of you. If you would actually be walking around with those wounds on the outside, we'd all look at you go, and you're gonna bleed to death, and we'd get you to emergency room to have them sutured, right? And we'd say they're infected, you're bleeding on people. How many of us walk around with worse wounds on the inside of our body? They're killing us, those wounds. Yeah. They have to be addressed by living God. And we see Jesus on the cross, and we see clearly he says, what does he say? He takes on stripes. He takes on wounds for our own healing. Address the wounds on the inside. But we as a society say, oh no, don't worry about the wounds on the inside. They're not apparent. Hide them. Put fig leaves and coverings over them. Don't let anybody know you were hurt that way. But I promise you, at the top of this tree, if you have had a problem with drugs, if you have had a problem with anger, if you have had a problem with workaholism, with churchism, with overeating, I don't care what you got addicted to, because every single one of us gets addicted to something. Every one of us has an ism. It is so sad in this world that there's prettier isms and uglier isms. Guys, anything in the God spot that's not God is ugly. You are not getting what you need. You're not returning to the garden. And when we say the ugly things are ugly, but if you go do one of these other prettier things, you're going to be fine, you're no better off than doing the bad thing, okay? The reality is your ism is a smoke alarm going off telling you that your house is on fire. I go to shoot up heroin, my house is on fire. Heroin is not the problem. I don't have some weird disease, unknown to man, that I'm going to go do something. What's the problem? My house is on fire. In other words, I got broken things down in the root system of my tree that are saying I can't get my needs met in God, my core longings met in God. Things are blocking me from getting what I need. And the desire to get your God spot filled is stronger than your sex drive, your drive to eat, your drive for survival. Put them all together, magnify them by about 10. You will be driven to get your God needs met. We left the garden, and that piece of us, you know, God-shaped hole that was left in us will drive for anything to get it met. And our problem is we keep substituting things because we don't know how to get it met. And what we're telling you is part of the journey is to actually fix the pieces in the root system. If your roots are like straws, drawing up all the nutrients so that you bloom, and your straw's broken, what are you going to do? You got a problem, right? Fix the straw. Your journey is to fix the straw, okay? What Jesus will do all the work. That's the most amazing thing. Is I love my relationship with God. It is the most one-sided relationship I've ever been in because there's so many times I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I don't know, and you know what? My best prayers are when I'm so overwhelmed, I say one word. Do you know what it is? Very loud. It can't be Jesus. Somebody said Jesus.
Amen.
Could be amen.
Oh.
Help. So there are times, have you ever been there, where my world looks so dark, I just scream, help. Sometimes it's 2 words, Jesus help. But that's it. I think they're some of my best, most honest prayers I've ever had. Not eloquent, oh, I need you to do this, this, this. I get out of my own way. I'm like, I don't have a clue how to fix this. Help. And guess what? God does incredible things. There are times I could not get up in the morning to get to work, and I would say, I don't even know what to do. God, can you just wake me up in the morning? Guess what? In the morning, I would feel like I got hit by those paddles that bring you back to life. Like, wow, I'm awake. Here I go. God will do. It's amazing what he wants to do for you if you ask. But he wants to repair the breaks. I will say one other thing, keeping you over a few minutes here. But your wounds in the bottom of that tree actually drive in your life. You know, so if I had a wound that my dad abandoned me at the side of the road when I was 6 years old, true story, probably one of my deeper wounds. He abandoned the whole family for a reason. Later on I understood, but at the time I felt like I got abandoned. So I got abandoned. So what happened in my life is later on, I believed my protector would always leave me. No one was going to protect me. Men always leave, okay? And then what it did was it sewed into my identity, I'm not worth staying for, okay? So it became an identity question. If a little girl's daddy won't stay with her, then I'm not worth staying. So lies started to drive in me about my worth. Any man ever said anything or acted like he was going to leave, major emotional upheaval came up in my life. And when that upheaval came in my life, I actually moved to dysfunctional behavior. My isms started to light up like crazy, right? Because those wounds drive what you believe about yourself, drive even your reactions, your anxiety, your depressions, you know, your feelings of self-worth are coming from those. And they just drive our isms. And so to not tell you that if we don't find a way to get under, for you to sit in a posture for Jesus to heal, you're never going to get to the tree of restoration, which is the fruit of the Spirit. All of that has to be healed in your life. And that's the important piece about the wounds and the trauma, and about the model that we want to put forward to you is you